Okay, it's going. All right, so write an integer that describes this situation. So we're just going to go through, I'll do one of them with you, and then all they're trying to do is you need to find a word that establishes this as a positive or a negative, okay? So if you earned $25, the key word here is going to be earned. Is that going to be a positive or a negative $25, guys? Positive, okay? So we're just going to leave it as is. If you put the plus sign in front of it, whatever, that's fine. So then I'm going to just underline the ones below, but I'm not going to answer them, and I don't want you guys in here to answer it. This one would be below sea level is the keyword, and this one would be below zero is the keyword. Okay, and so you're just going to go in there and decide negative or positive. That's what that's about. Find the sum. I'm so thankful that we're putting these back on our homework because it's easy to forget. So the first thing I would do with this is I would combine the negatives. So I have a -6 and a -7. When I combine those together, I get -13. So I'm going to make this just a simpler problem for me. So now I have 10 plus -13. It just makes it easier. And then if they have the same signs, you add them up. They don't. If they have opposite signs, you subtract. So you would do 13 minus 10, and then you're going to keep the sign of the larger absolute value. So it's 13 is greater than 10, and so it's going to be a negative answer. All right. I don't know why it says A Jordans. We're just going, oh, I see. There's two problems. Problem A. Jordan's recipe calls for 2 cups of flour and 1 cup of water. What's the ratio of flour to water? And so you're going to go over here and you're going to do the flour number because they say flour first. And you can put the little semicolons and then the water next. So just fill it in place. Then it says if Jordan wants to double his recipe, what would the new ratio be? If you're doubling something, you're multiplying it by 2. And so you're just going to take those numbers, multiply them by 2, and give me a new ratio. Use the formula area equals base times height to find the area of a rectangle that has a base of 5 5/10 and a height of 13. Well, if it's base times height, I'm just going to take the two numbers and multiply them together. Make sure that when you have your answer, you take into consideration where the decimal is and move your decimal over, and it has 1 digit left over at the end as well. Yes?
Does it matter which one's on top?
No. You can do either one on top.
Okay.
Because they have the same amount of digits. Okay. Caitlin has 6 pounds of potatoes. She has a recipe that calls for 3/4 of a pound of potatoes. How many recipes will she be able to make? So we're going to take 6 and we're going to divide it by 3/4. And then to make this easy, I'm going to put a 1 underneath the 6. So they both look fractiony. And then you would have to do keep, change, flip. Now, when it asks you how many recipes you can make, I don't want what's left over. Like if it ends up that you can make 18 and 4/5, well, we're not going to make 4/5 of a recipe. I just want the 18. If you leave it on there, I'm not going to count it wrong, but just letting you know. All right, let's move over to 10 since we're right here. We're subtracting. With subtracting integers, we do keep, change, opposite.
Wait.
Yes.
For number 5, are we going to have to find the greatest common factor? Or?
No, because when you're multiplying fractions, you just multiply across. You don't have to find a common denominator. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Okay. I bought Halloween decorations in November for 50% off. How much did I pay? If the original cost was $47.50. So we're setting up a percent proportion, which all of you should be good at because of yesterday. The percent is given to us. It was 50. The total amount is going down here. And we're trying to find the amount off. So that's how it's going to be set up. When you multiply these, if you cross multiply, you do not have to add that 0 on the 4750 because it doesn't have value. It's not in the middle of two digits that do. So you can take it off to save yourself a step. Write in expanded form. After today, you should be really good with this one. If I had the problem, 3 to the 3rd power, I would write in an expanded form like that. So there's your example, okay? We are doing that with this. Okay, what is 25% of 840? Put my 100 right here. My percent always goes over the 100. Of is my total. My total goes below. And is my part, and that one is missing. Okay. Same concept here. Let's throw the 100 down. What is 24%? Percent always goes over 100. Of 96, that's the whole, and the part is missing again. All right, let's flip this guy over. And here we go. Miss Martell has 1 husband, 2 children, 4 dogs, 1 cat, and 16 chickens that she has to take care of. What percent of that total are dogs? Make a decimal and round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so let's figure this out. Put my 100 right here. My percent is missing. We need to figure out how many animals we got, or how many things we got going on here. So I have 1, 2, that's 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 16 is 24. 24 things. And then we are trying to figure out how many of, which one are we doing? The dogs? The dogs go right there. I'm going to verify one more time. 1, 3, 7, 8, 16 plus 8. Yes, 24. Okay, got it set up. You guys figure out what percentage of my household is dogs. The temperature started at 12 degrees. Starting at 12. It rose to, what does rose represent? Okay, up. It dropped 7. What does that represent? And what's the temperature now? Miss Platt has 125 students. That's a total. 48% are girls. How many boys does she have? Okay, so you have choices here. Because it's giving me the percent of girls, I want to know what the percent of boys is. Percents are always 100%. And so if 48% are girls, what's the percentage of the class that's boys?
Well, that's easy. That's
50 what? You would do 100
52.
minus, yes, 52. Okay, so that is how I would solve that because we figured out the percentage for the boys. Okay, down here. Eddie is reading a novel for English class. He has read 173 out of 480 pages. About what percent? Oh man, she really got you on the percents. Okay, so the whole book is a 480 pages. 173 are read. This is your free space of 100. You're trying to figure out the percent. Okay. Write this in standard form. Standard form means solve. So we have 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. You need to solve that. All right. We are going to subtract. Same sides, add them up. Opposites, subtract. Keep the sign of the larger one. Then you'll be exact. Write the ratio of frogs to flies. How many frogs? How many flies? Frogs, flies. However, want it in simplest form. So you're going to have to reduce it and make it smaller. If you don't, I take off 3 points. That seems to be pretty standard. Y'all keep forgetting to simplify it. Find the greatest common factor between whatever you get and simplify. Okay, PEMDAS. We're bringing back some PEMDAS because we're about to learn it in class, and we put one on here that was something that you could have handled last year. So there are no parentheses, there are no exponents, there is multiplying and dividing, and so you will start right here with your problem. That is where you start. And then circle the most specific category. So where does this belong? It is not, I'll tell you right now, it's not a whole number because whole numbers are just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you need to figure out which category it belongs in besides that. This one we are dividing. Go ahead and put 4,307 in the division house and divide by 59. Don't worry about the negatives. But at the end, don't forget that one is positive and one is negative, and you can use the triangle man to help you solve it.